TYT Sports, everybody. Ben Mankiewicz, Rick Strom. Week one of the NBA playoffs. Weekend one. Game one in all 8 series. And man, that was as eventful the first couple of days of the NBA playoffs as I can ever remember. Let's start with the big story from Saturday. Derrick Rose playing, injured with what? A little over a minute to play, up 12. Rick Strom, a lifetime Bull fan and Bull watcher. Your thoughts, Rick?
Firstly, everyone saying that Tom Thibodeau is the person to blame for all this is talking out of their ass. Because, look, it's a 12-point game. There's a minute and change left. Meanwhile, let's say they turn the ball over. I mean, Thaddeus Young comes down and hits a 3. It's a 9-point game. And as we know, leads dissolve very, very quickly in the NBA. I have no problem with him being in there.
Yeah,
so
it's not like they were up 24 points with 8 minutes to play. I mean, then the game's over.
Right, totally. And then you take him out and you rest him for game 2. But, I mean...
I don't, here's the thing about that. I don't think that anyone is actually criticizing him. Like, you keep reading stories where people talk about the criticism, but I don't see the actual criticism from thoughtful people who cover the NBA. It seems like a made-up controversy. Like,
totally.
I don't really think anybody smart thinks he shouldn't have been in. First of all, even if it was an 18-point game, you're talking about a guy who missed 27 games during the season. Like, he needs to play. Like, he needs to get going and play. And I get it if it's a 30-point game or 25. But, I mean, but of course, as we just saw at the last game on Sunday night, if you're up 24 points with 7 minutes and 55 seconds to play, you might lose. So it seems silly. The Sixers had made a little run. I bet on the game, so I was paying very close attention to how it turned out. It looked like the Bulls had it wrapped up. But from a gambling point of view, I was thrilled to see Derrick Rose in the game because I had the Bulls minus 8.5. But, look, man, the guys, I think if they'd scored there on that possession and then there'd been a stock cloppage, he might have come out for the last minute of the game, up 14 at that point. But,
yeah.
Look, man, you got to play. Your best players play. The game was not over. It was a 99% chance the Bulls were going to win at that point. But it's totally reasonable to keep a guy. And he needs to get his conditioning, and he needs to be there at the end of games because game 2, it'll be a 5-point game. He's going to have to be in down the stretch. He rested him beginning of the fourth quarter. They put him in with, like 6-7 minutes to go.
Yeah, and you know what? He's missed 27 games this year with like 5 or 6 different injuries. He's had almost every injury you could think of this season.
Mike Wilbon of the Washington Post, ESPN, wrote a great piece about Richard Hamilton had spoken to Wilbon early in the year and said, you're going to see a lot more injuries this year. Now, I just read a story that there haven't actually been that many more injuries this year. It's just
seems like there has, though.
Right. It seems like it because we frame the injuries now in the context of the shortened schedule. And it may have had something to do with it. But as far as significant players missing time, there really wasn't that much more. But the MVP missed a lot of time, and he'd never missed any time in years past. He missed, like 6 games in 3 years?
Yeah.
So, it also was about the style of Derrick Rose's play.
Absolutely.
The hard jump stops and the torques, that this is a guy more likely than other people to do something like that to the knee just because of the manner in which the really hard-nosed way he plays the game.
And continually. I mean, it's all of that and even more. I mean, even when he came back, I would talk to my dad on the phone, and we watched Bulls games throughout my entire life together. And we noticed these sorts of things. And when he came back, I said to him, I'm like, look, this is a different Derrick Rose. He's not attacking the basket. He's not trying to go off the dribble because he knows that there's going to be more contact, which is obviously more risk for injury. So he'd pull up from like 15,
right, and the
17.
irony, of course, is that this was non-contact.
Yeah, that's
as
the
all
pure
ACL
irony.
Injuries, as Shumpert's was as well in the next game, the Knicks Heat game. The thing about Derrick Rose that I haven't, obviously every NBA fan, every sports fan, sorry to see him not available for these playoffs, and Bulls can't win the NBA title without him.
No.
They can talk all they want about coming together. I think they can. I think they can beat the Sixers. I think they can beat the Hawks or the Celtics, but beating the Heat and then the Thunder, that seems inconceivable.
There's no way. There's no way.
Right, there's no way to speculate. They can't. But
they've had a great season, okay, considering that they haven't had their MVP for 27 games, okay? This is a team, when you look at the Bulls, you see a team that has a lot of good players, but only one star.
That's right.
I mean, they are composed of very good players and only one absolute all-star MVP caliber player. So, I mean, I think they'll beat the Sixers, but they'll lose next round for sure.
Well,
maybe in five, maybe in 6 games.
I think they will. I think there's a good chance they win that next series, and that'll be fun just to see. But also, if you're the Celtics or the Hawks now, all of a
wide
sudden,
open.
The possibility just opened up because now you can beat the Bulls, no question. And then, right, presumably the Hawks or the Celtics can't beat the Heat, but we just saw. Suppose somebody gets hurt. Suppose something changes. All of a sudden, the possibility is opened up for a team like the Hawks. The Hawks. They barely exist.